Welcome, YouTubers, to another episode in my Grammar Heroes series. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing how you can use polynomial multiplication instead of learning all the factoring techniques to answer factoring questions in the mathematics knowledge subtest of both the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery, that is the ASVAB, as well as the pre-screening Internet Delivered Computer Adaptive Test, that is the PiCAT. More specifically, I'm going to start this video by giving you a brief overview of the relationship between polynomial multiplication and factoring. And then after that, for the rest of the video, I'm going to work out 5 practice questions that should closely mirror what you'll see in the ASVAB and PiCAT. And if you struggle with factoring, this video is for you. I would strongly encourage you to watch it from start to finish. Truthfully, if you know how to multiply polynomials already, then there's no need for you to learn advanced factoring techniques. And here's why. Both the ASVAB and PiCAT are multiple choice tests, which means that for factoring questions, you can use your answer choices to answer every single one of those questions correctly. And with that said, let's get started with my overview of the relationship between polynomial multiplication and factoring. All right, so simply put, factoring a polynomial involves writing it as a product of two or more polynomials. It reverses the process of polynomial multiplication. As simple as that sounds, we know that reality is usually a little bit more complicated, and here's why. You'll be asked to factor a polynomial. You'll have to look at that polynomial and select the appropriate factoring technique, some of which can be very advanced, in order to express that polynomial in factored form, that is, as the product of two polynomials. Well, in today's video, I'm going to get rid of the need for you to memorize those advanced factoring techniques. Uh, that said, I want to caution you about one thing. Factoring is much quicker than the method I'm going to show you. So if you can factor something, please factor it. That said, during the test, if you get stuck on a question involving factoring, absolutely use this method. You'll get the question correct 100% of the time. All right, so now that we know that factoring is the reverse of polynomial multiplication, let's go ahead and talk about the second technique you can use to answer all the factoring questions on the PiCAT ASVAB. And as you can see, it's right here and it's very simple. The first thing you want to do is expand your answer choices via the multiplication of polynomials. And once you do that, you're going to take a look at your expanded answer choices, and whichever one matches the polynomial you were asked to factor is the correct answer. That's all there is to it. Expand your answer choices, match them up to the one you were asked to factor. All right, so with those things in mind, let's go ahead and get started with the practice questions. As I said at the beginning of this video, there are going to be 5 practice test questions that closely mirror what you'll see in both the ASVAB and PiCAT. And at this point in the video, it's in your best interest to pause the video after I read a question, attempt to work out that question on your own, and then resume playing the video to check your solution. And I want to stress this again. I really don't care how you solve these factoring questions. If you can factor it quickly using an advanced factoring technique, go ahead and do so. Otherwise, if you need to revert back to expanding the answer choices via the multiplication of polynomials, you can also do that. Again, on test day, you may be a little bit nervous. So if you struggle factoring something, just go ahead and expand the answer choices, spend the extra time getting the question correct, and then move on to something else. So with all that said, let's take a look at this first question right here. All right, so this first question says, factor x squared plus 52x plus 100. So if on test A, you come across something that looks like this, and you don't know how to factor it, again, you can simply take your answer choices, expand them by multiplying the polynomials together, and whichever one matches this polynomial right here, you know is correct. So let's get started doing that. Again, I'm going to start by expanding uh, answer choice A here, which is x plus 4 times x plus 25. As you can see, we're multiplying one polynomial, notably x plus 4, times the second polynomial, notably x plus 25. You use the distributive property to do that, so you're going to take this x and you're going to multiply it here and here. Then you're going to take this 4 and you're going to multiply it there and there. Let's go ahead and do that. X times x is x squared. X times 25 is 25x. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 25 is 100. Let's go ahead and simplify this by combining like terms. We have x squared plus 25x plus 4x is going to be 29x plus 100. All right, so we've simplified that as much as possible. Does this x squared plus 29x plus 100 match x squared plus 52x plus 100? No, you can see that we have 29x and 52x here. So because of that, I know that A is not the correct answer choice. All right, let's go ahead and expand B now. Again, we're multiplying x plus 2 by x plus 50. And to multiply these two polynomials together, we're going to use the distributive property, which means we're going to take this x, we're going to multiply it here and here. Then we're going to take this 2, and we're going to multiply it here and here. X times x is x squared. X times 50 is going to be plus 50x. 2 times x is 2x. And 50 times 2 is 100. Let's go ahead and combine like terms now to simplify this polynomial. We have x squared plus 50x plus 2x is going to be 52x plus 100. Now, does this match what we have right here? X squared, 52x, 52x plus 100 plus 100. Since these two match, I know that the factors of x squared plus 52x plus 100 are x plus 2 times x plus 50. And the rest of these, therefore, are wrong. So we are done. We are done with number 1. Instead of factoring x squared plus 52x plus 100, we simply expanded our answer choices by multiplying the two polynomials together and matched our result with that which we were asked to factor. And that is it. You do not have to know how to factor in order to answer factoring questions on the ASVAB and PiCAT. All right, so number 2 says factor 2x squared minus 13x plus 15. Again, if you know how to factor this, go ahead and do so. That said, if you're lost as to how you factor this, you can always go to your answer choices and expand them via the distributive property. And then in doing so, you'll be able to determine which of these is correct. So let's go ahead and use that method to solve this one. In this case, I'm going to start by expanding answer choice A. As you can see, we have 2x plus 3 times x plus 5. And to multiply these two polynomials together, we're going to take this 2x, we're going to multiply it here and here. And we're going to take this 3 and multiply it here and here. 2x times x is going to be 2x squared. 2x times 5 is going to be 10x. 3 times x is going to be 3x. And 3 times 5, of course, is 15. Let's simplify this by combining like terms. We have 2x squared plus 10x, and 3x is 13x plus 15. Does this match that which we were asked to factor? We have 2x squared plus 13x. This is minus 13x. So right there, I know that answer choice A is not correct. All right, let's go ahead and do the same process to check answer choice B. We have 2x plus 3 times x minus 5. So we're going to multiply these two polynomials together using the distributive property, which means we're going to take this 2x, we're going to multiply it here and here. We're going to take this 3 and multiply it there and there. All right, so let's get started. We have 2x times x, which is 2x squared. 2x times negative 5 is negative 10x. 3 times x is 3x. And then 3x times negative 5 is negative 15. Let's simplify this by combining like terms. We have 2x squared. Negative 10x plus 3x is going to be negative 7x minus 15. All right, does this match? We have 2x squared, 2x squared. Negative 7x, negative 13x, positive 15, negative 15. Because those two do not match, I know that answer choice B is not correct. Let's work on answer choice C now. That is 2x minus 3 times x minus 5. Of course, we're going to multiply these two polynomials together via the distributive property, which means we're going to take this 2x, multiply it here and here. We're going to take this negative 3 and multiply it there and there. 2x times x, of course, is 2x squared. 2x times negative 5 is negative 10x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And negative 3 times negative 5, and negative times a negative is a positive. So this is positive 15. This becomes 2x squared. Negative 10x minus 3x is going to be minus 13x. And of course, that's plus 15. Well, does this match what we have here? We have 2x squared here, 2x squared here, minus 13x, minus 13x, plus 15x, plus 15x. So this, as you can see, matches this. And because of that, I know that 2x minus 3 times x minus 5 are the factors of 2x squared minus 13x plus 15. As you just saw, I did not have to factor in order to figure that out. And I am done with this one. All right, so number 3 says factor 100 v to the fourth minus 9. And if, like me, you're looking at that and saying, how in the world do I factor that? You always have to keep in mind that the asvab and PiCAT are multiple choice tests. So you can simply expand your answer choices by multiplying your polynomials together. And in doing so, you'll figure out which one is correct. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and start expanding our answer choices. I'm going to start by expanding answer choice A, which says 10v squared plus 3 times 10v squared plus 3. And once you get good at this, you'll be able to look at your answer choices and automatically determine which of them is going to be correct. Because I know plus 3 times plus 3 is plus 9, and I have a negative 9 here. So without doing too much work, I could say A is not going to work. But that said, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to go ahead and work it out fully. And we're multiplying two polynomials together. So I'm going to take this 10v squared, and I'm going to multiply it here and here. I'm going to take this 3, and I'm going to multiply it here and here. 10v squared times 10v squared is going to be 100v to the fourth. 10v squared times 3 is going to be plus 30v squared. 3 times 10v squared is going to be plus 30v squared. And 3 times 3 is, of course, 9. Let's go ahead and simplify this by combining like terms, although at this point you could probably tell that it's not going to simplify to this polynomial here. So we have 100v to the fourth 30v squared plus 30v squared is going to be plus 60v squared plus 9. Does this match this? It doesn't, so I know A is not going to work. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at B. It is 10v squared minus 3 times 10v squared minus 3. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, can you tell, Grammar Hero, if this one's going to work or not? And the answer is yes. Right here, I have negative 3 times negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 3 is going to be positive 9. So I know I'm going to have a positive 9 just like I had here, and therefore this isn't going to work either. That said, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to go ahead and expand this one out fully so we can see that. Again, we're going to start by taking this 10v squared. We're going to multiply it here and here. We're going to take this negative 3. We're going to multiply it here and here. 10v squared times 10v squared, well, we know that is 100v to the fourth. 10v squared times negative 3 is going to be negative 30v squared. Negative 3 times 10v squared is going to be negative 30v squared. Negative 3 times negative 3, and negative times a negative is a positive, so I know that is plus 9. So this becomes 100v to the fourth. Negative 30v squared minus 30v squared is negative 60v squared plus 9. All right, so does this match this? Clearly it doesn't, so we know B is not correct. Let's go ahead and expand C now, and I'm going to do that over here. We have 10v squared plus 3 times 10v squared minus 3. All right, so I'm going to say this one is going to work because I have negative 3 or positive 3 times negative 3. Positive times a negative is a negative. So let's go ahead and work it out just to confirm that. Uh, if you recall, we're multiplying two polynomials, so we're going to use the distributive property to do that. Specifically, we're going to take this 10v squared, we're going to multiply it there and there. Then we're going to take this 3 and multiply it here and here. 10v squared times 10v squared is 100v to the fourth. 10v squared times negative 3 is going to be negative 30v squared. Positive 3 times 10v squared is going to be positive 30v squared. And positive 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. All right, let's go ahead and simplify this. We have 100v to the fourth. Negative 30v squared plus 30v squared is 0. These two eliminate each other, so we're left with just minus 9 there. Does this match this? Well, we have 100v to the fourth, 100v to the fourth, minus 9, minus 9. And because those two match, I know that the factors of 100v to the fourth minus 9 are, in fact, 10v squared plus 3 times 10v squared minus 3. All right, so number 4 says factor 2x squared plus xy minus 3y squared. If you know how to factor this one using an advanced factoring technique, that's great. Go ahead and do so. That's going to save you a lot of time. But remember, factoring reverses the process of multiplying two polynomials together. So in other words, if we expand all of our answer choices by multiplying the two polynomials together, we'll eventually figure out what the factors of 2x squared plus xy minus 3y squared are. And let's go ahead and get started doing that. So let's start by expanding A. A, we have 2x plus 3y times x plus y. All right. And when we multiply two polynomials together like this, we use the distributive property, which means take this 2x, multiply it here and here, then take this 3y and multiply it there and there. Let's go ahead and do that. We have 2x times x, which is going to be 2x squared. 2x times y, which is going to be plus 2xy. 3x times y, which is going to be plus 3xy. And then 3y times y, which is going to be plus 3y squared. All right, let's simplify this by combining like terms. This becomes 2x squared plus 2xy plus 3xy is going to be 5xy, and then plus 3y squared. Does this polynomial match this polynomial? We have 2x squared plus xy plus 5xy. So it doesn't, and therefore we know these are not the factors of that. Let's go ahead and work on b now. And b says 2x minus 3y times x minus y. And without doing any math whatsoever, I know this one's not correct because ultimately I'm going to do negative 3y times negative y. Negative times a negative is going to be a positive. Therefore, this is going to be positive 3y squared, not negative 3y squared. So once you get very good at multiplying polynomials, you can look through your answer choices, and using a bit of mental math, you can already rule these out without having to do much math at all. But that said, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to go ahead and expand this one out fully. We have to multiply these two polynomials together. So we're going to take this 2x, we're going to multiply it there and there. We're going to take this negative 3y and multiply it there and there. Let's go ahead and do that. 2x times x, and let me make a bar here so we can separate our work. 2x times x is going to be 2x squared. 2x times negative y is negative 2xy. Negative 3y. Negative 3y times x is negative 3xy. And then negative 3y times negative y is going to be plus 3y squared. Let's go ahead and combine like terms. This becomes 2x squared. Negative 2xy minus 3xy is negative 5xy. And then this is plus 3y squared. Does this match what we have here? We have 2x squared minus 5xy plus xy. Clearly that does not match, so we know B is not correct. All right, let's go ahead and check out C now. C says 2x minus 3y times x plus y. Again, we're multiplying two polynomials together, so we're going to have to use the distributive property, which means we're going to take this 2x, multiply it there and there. We're going to take this negative 3y and multiply it there and there. So let's get started. We have 2x times x, which is going to be 2x squared. Then we have 2x times y, which is plus 2xy. Then we have negative 3y times x, which is going to be negative 3xy. And then we have negative 3y times positive y. That's going to be negative 3y squared. Let's go ahead and simplify this. This becomes 2x squared plus 2xy minus 3xy is going to be minus xy, and then we just have minus 3y squared. Well, does this match? We have 2x squared minus xy. This is plus xy, so I know that C doesn't work, and by process of elimination, we know that D works. All right, let's go ahead and check D real quick. We're multiplying 2x plus 3y times x minus y. Again, to multiply these two polynomials together, we're going to use the distributive property, which means we're going to take this 2x, multiply it there and there. We're going to take this 3y, multiply it here and here. Let's go ahead and do so. We have 2x times x, which is 2x squared. Then we have 2x times negative y, which is negative 2xy. Positive 3y times x is plus 3xy. And then plus 3y times negative y is going to be negative 3y squared. Let's simplify this by combining like terms. We have 2x squared. Negative 2xy plus 3xy is simply just plus xy. And then we're left with negative 3y squared. Does this match? We have 2x squared plus xy minus 3y squared. So we just confirmed that that does in fact match. Therefore, we can confirm that D is the correct answer. All right, so let's take a look at number 5 now. It says factor x to the third minus 4x squared plus 4x minus 16. Now you can factor this one by a method called grouping. That said, if it's test A and you are drawing a blank here, you should just keep in mind that by expanding all of your answer choices, you can figure out which one is correct. And in this case, it should be pretty obvious that at some point, you're going to have to multiply x times x squared in order to get this x to the third right here. So if we look through our answer choices, we can see that in only 2 of them do we multiply x by x squared. So instead of expanding all of these, I'm going to focus my efforts on expanding B and C, which will help me solve this one more quickly. So let's go ahead and get started by expanding answer choice B. We have x minus 4 times x squared plus 4. All right, again, we're using the distributive property to multiply these two polynomials together. In other words, we're going to take this x, multiply it here and here. We're going to take this negative 4, multiply it there and there. So x times x squared is going to be x to the third. X times 4x is going to be plus 4x. Negative 4 times x squared is negative 4x squared. Negative 4 times positive 4, and negative times a positive is a negative. 4 times 4 is 16, so this is minus 16. Let's rewrite this polynomial such that our highest powers come first. So our highest power is x to the third, followed by negative 4x squared, followed by 4x, and then finally by 16. All right, so let's see if this matches. We have x to the third, minus 4x squared, plus 4x minus 16. Since these two match, I know that the factors of x to the third minus 4x squared plus 4x minus 16 are in fact x minus 4 times x squared plus 4. All right, so that is all I have for today. As usual, I hope you found it helpful. And as always, you're more than welcome to leave feedback in the comment section below. Want to stress this again. Please don't worry about knowing all these factoring techniques for the ASVAB. Here's why. By expanding your answer choices by multiplying those two polynomials together, you should be able to quickly figure out which one is going to be correct. And for that reason, there's no need to memorize all these factoring techniques. That said, if you want to know them, you can find my free reference sheet on my website. And in addition, I do have videos discussing those factoring techniques on my YouTube channel already. That said, keep it simple for test day. Instead of factoring, expand your answer choices and you'll be good to go. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and cut you loose.